big round of applause for the one and only Bodkin Show. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkin Show. Welcome, everybody. Good evening. It is another great episode of the Bodkin Show. This is our NFL Week 5 preview show. You know what happens every Wednesday night right here. We get you ready for that Week 5, the NFL week that's getting ready to start, whether it's, hey, I'm nervous about fantasy, or hey, who do I pick? The spreads. We get you everything ready, prepared tonight. I'm excited. We got a packed house, kids. That's right. The barn is full, packed house. Before we get everybody in here, obviously, hey, I did this morning my wrap-up show. If you haven't checked that out, please do so. It's on Apple Podcasts as well and Spotify, also right here on the old Bodkins channel. So if you want to check that out, please check that out after this. Also, we'll be back on Sunday. We'll be doing our head kicks and haymakers. That'll be 7 a.m. Central Time Zone. And then, obviously, Sunday night, we'll be coming back to you with our Week 5 reaction show. But enough to it. Before we can react, we got to predict what's going to be happening here in Week 5. So, you know what it is. I'm always joined by my main man, Craig with a K. Craig, what's up, my man?
How's it going, man? Good to be back. I missed last Wednesday, so good to be back.
Yes, it is good to be back. Even speaking of being back, Daddy of two, welcome back, Mr. The guy puts himself in before I give him the damn intro. Welcome back, Mr. Smoking Amigo, Kenneth Miller, Daddy of two. Put the kids to bed early, folks, because Kenny Miller's back in action.
Craig said, sorry you missed last Wednesday. I'm like, sorry I missed the last couple of weeks, boys.
Hey, welcome back, man. We missed you. I think our fans missed you. We missed all the cool slides. We appreciate you, everything that you're doing. We already got a comment coming in here. Full barn, boys. Welcome back, Kenny, says Landez, and we appreciate you. See, our fans appreciate you. Thank you. And we, of course, you know what Wednesday is. We always love to bring in a special guest, host of At Sports Talking It, my main man, Adam McNally.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing?
Hey, thanks, Adam, for joining us.
Yeah, last minute, but, I'm here, ready to roll. Let's start picking, man. I'm ready.
Hey, appreciate you hopping on short notice. Kitty, I just got your text message. Anyway, Adam, hey, before we get into it, go ahead and get those plugs in real quick, and then we'll start picking these games and get ready.
Well, I do sports talking it, or talking sports with is the actual name of the show, but everyone always Twitters it, and that's how it came up on Twitter. So that's what everyone calls it. Driving to the Top Productions. We got Gina Rep in the Bay. We got Corner Boost 617, Tom up in Quincy. We got Cleveland. We're doing things, That's all you can do in this world. Just try and make it,
And Adam, hey, before we get started, what's your football team?
I like the Steelers.
Oh,
even though my shirt from last night's still sitting there. I got Palomalu next to Davis. Great defensive back. So when you're doing a Niners show, you got to have a Niners jersey, right?
Hey, oh, yeah. All right, Kenny, go ahead.
Actually, Kenny, I had Logan on from Seventh Inning Stretch the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're the St. Louis Chronicles. So, yeah, you just check them out. I see you got the Cardinal hat on. So
always do.
So, I don't know if I'm rooting for them to win because it's hard for me to root for the Cardinals, but it just is.
If that division was on any other team, I'd root for it.
Are you a Pirates guy too? Then, if you're a Steelers guy,
yeah, I'm a Cleveland. I like the Indians
or
the Guardians now too. So I grew up I have a camp up in Ashtabula, which is like 45 minutes out of Cleveland. So I kind of grew up there in the summers and listened to Baega and Tomey and Vizquel and Manny Ramirez and left. So I kind of like have a heart for both of them, I guess.
I got you.
But if you got to do one, at least you got American and National League, so makes it a little bit easier. But hey, let's start picking. Let's do this shenanigans.
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, so we got tomorrow night's game. No Jonathan Taylor for the Colts. He's out. Looks like Shaq Lawson as well is out. My Super Bowl team. Before we get into the picks, I forgot. Let's update last week between so myself, Dan, and Craig. Our guest host was Dan Bronson of the fan club. Everybody went 7-8. And remember, folks, we are playing for the Bodkin Show gold chain, baby. That's right. That's what we're playing for. This right here, it'll probably stay around this man's, my man, I'll be rocking this all year next year. But this is what we're playing for. We're right now, everybody went 7-8 last week, so not that great. It was 7-8 and one push, so we all were one below 500. But let's get into it this week, starting tomorrow night. I just alluded to it. No Jonathan Taylor, no Shaq Lawson. This Colts team looks awful. I gave them the Bodkins KOD at the beginning of the year by picking them to go to the Super Bowl. Sorry about it. I blame Pat McAfee. So and they're going against Denver. Denver hasn't looked good either. They're coming off a loss against the Raiders. We know their running back torn ACL, MCL, and Russ Wilson's a little playing hurt and dinged up. Hey, we'll go with you, Adam. Who you liking this one? It looks like the Colts are the favorite here at -3.
I like the Colts. I think now that Jonathan Taylor's out, Matt Ryan's going to be forced to throw this ball around the yard. I do. I don't know. These Broncos look awful.
So you're on the Colts +3?
I am. I do. I'm just feeling the Colts are gonna pull this one off. You know, they're getting hassled. You know, they're in that doghouse, but so are the Broncos. But maybe Russ Wilson was the problem in Seattle.
Hey, Geno looks like a killer. We'll get to Geno here a little bit later, obviously. Kenny, I know you've been busy with doing double diaper duty. I don't know how much football you watch, but both these teams absolutely stink right now. Who do you like here? The Broncos at -3, or are you taking the Colts and the points?
Without Jonathan Taylor, I don't think I can take the Colts. I'm going to take the Broncos. I wish if it was 3.5, I'd take the Colts to cover that, but I'm not going to do it at 3. There for a while. I thought the Broncos, I knew they were stunk, but I thought they were a team that they're just going to win ugly for a while before they got it figured out. And then they lost to the Raiders, and the Raiders just kind of lose to everybody. So that kind of tells you where the Broncos are at. So I'm going to take the Broncos in this one, though, just without Jonathan Taylor. I do think that Adam's right that Ryan's going to have to throw the ball. He just hasn't really shown that he's able to do that even when he had weapons on the field. So I think they're going to struggle. They got to go into Denver to do it. So I'm going to take the Broncos in this one.
Craig, where are you at here on this Broncos-Colts game? I know you had Javonte on your fantasy team.
I did. You didn't have to rub that in. And I mean, with Jonathan Taylor out, I mean, I think Adam is onto something in the fact that Matt Ryan's going to sling it. But if the Broncos got the Colts one-dimensional, man, I just like Denver at home. Like you said, both these teams haven't looked very good, but the Colts have just looked, terrible. And outside of that game against Kansas City, which Kansas City just didn't play a Kansas City Chiefs type game, the Colts have just looked bad against everybody. So I don't like either one of these teams, but 3 points at home is dang near a pick 'em. So I'm going to take Denver to cover the 3.
Yeah, you guys have alluded to Matt Ryan's going to have to throw it. Who the hell is he going to throw it to is my question, because there hasn't been anybody to throw it to. Mo Alley Cox, or what's that other big tight end that they've been talking that had a good game against the Chiefs?
Jelani
Woods. Jelani Woods. Thanks, Kenny. That's what you're here for. Welcome back. Michael Pittman Jr. has been nowhere to be found. No Jonathan Taylor. Maybe some dump-off passes to Nyheim Hines maybe. But I'm with you guys. We're all in on Denver, not feeling great about it. smacking it home, hammer it home. Give it up for the Broncos at -3 here.
I'm the oddball.
Oh, you took the Colts. You
I
took
did.
the Colts? Okay.
Matt Ryan, he's going to be forced to throw that deep ball, and he can throw that deep ball. When he does connect, he hits at 80%.
I don't know who he's throwing that deep ball to. That's the problem. Hey, let's get into the next game here. We're going to clear across the pond. The early game, the Giants taking on my Packers. The Packers are the favorite at -8. I think this line dropped a little bit here. I thought it was like -10.5 or something like that at first when I first glanced at it. But out -8. Craig, we'll start with you here. You like my Packers here at -8? Are you in on the Giants and Saquon? Danny Dimes looks like he's playing.
Yeah, I mean, on the money line, I'm taking Green Bay in this game, but this is a pretty big spread for a London game, I feel like. And Green Bay's offense hasn't looked incredible. So with the point in London, I mean, these London games just seem to be close sometimes. Most of the time, really, it feels like. So I'm going to take the Giants with the points in this one.
Kenny, are you taking your NFC East brethren here, the Giants at +8, or are you riding your boy Aaron Rodgers too?
I hope we have a good Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. I'm going to take the Packers to cover -8. I know the 8's a lot. I usually wouldn't do that, but I just don't. Saquon is really all they got. I don't think it matters if Daniel Jones plays or not. Kenny Galladay's hurt. Sterling Shepard's already out for the year. They got nobody to throw the ball to either. At some point, it can't all be Saquon. We kind of seen how that goes. Who knows if he's going to be able to hold up that much under that much? I know it's early still, but I'm just going to take the Packers to go ahead and go over there and clean up over across the pond.
So, Adam, right now it's a 1-1 here. You go ahead and try to break this tie. Is it the Giants or are you on the Packers here?
I'm taking the Packers here to cover. I think the Packers, they usually get blown out in week 1, and then they just find their game, and everyone talks smack on them, and then all of a sudden they wake up and they end up being 13-4 or 14-3. So I'm taking the Packers.
Yeah, so, man, Kenny, you said Kenny Galladay's hurt. Well, I mean, Kenny Galladay ain't played all year. He's been a no-show. He's on the, milk carton box along with some other players.
Darius Tomey.
Him too.
Everybody's hurt. That's what I mean, though. Is just everybody they were supposed to have to throw the ball to is either hurt, not playing, once traded, ain't no good. I mean, that's who you're going to throw the ball to.
Hey, it's Saquon. Saquon's going to throw it to himself, run it himself, and catch it himself. I mean, He did it all last week against the Bears, but the Packers are no Bears, baby. You know who I'm riding with. I'm riding with my boys. Hammer it home, +8 or -8 with the Packers. That'll probably come back.
I got to ask something too real quick. Is this the line you guys stay with, or do we stay with the lines that whenever it goes off before kickoff?
Oh, we stay with this line. Yeah. This is the permanent line. Yeah, whatever you.
Okay.
Whatever
I just wanted to check.
Once we hammer it, it's official.
Gotcha. I just wasn't sure how you guys did it. If you guys moved the lines before kickoff or whatever.
All right, Adam. I mean, your Steelers making the change here, going with Kenny Pickett, sitting down Mitch. This is a big spread here, -14. The Bills have looked like a wagon, but the last 2 games kind of close. The comeback against the Ravens and then the loss to the Dolphins, in which they almost come back and won. Are you taking your Steelers here and Kenny Pickett at +14?
I think they're going to cover it. Whether or not they win, that's a whole other story. But, Kenny Pickett, this offense seems a little bit alive. George Pickens looks to be moving into the 1 spot. I think they're going to cover. I don't know if they're going to win, but I think they're going to cover.
From one Kenny to the next Kenny, what are you thinking here? Is your brother, your name going to carry here the Steelers at +14?
Man, I've gone back and forth. 14 is so many points. But at some point, the Bills have got to turn around and say, we're the Buffalo Bills again. They've got to be kind of who we thought they were. And if you're ever going to do it, it's got to be Von Miller going against a rookie quarterback. And I know they got a bunch of people hurt in the secondary, but at some point, Josh Allen's got to be Josh Allen to really carry him. The Ravens are good. The Dolphins are good with Tua. So I don't think that you can really hold those close games against him. But I just don't know if Kenny Pickett's going to be the one to go out there and do it. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Tua with Mike McDaniel back there. So I'm going to take the Bills to cover this one. I hate to do it at -14, but I'm going to take the Bills.
Whew. Craig, go ahead and break this tie up here real fast.
14 points, boys, is a lot of points. And the Bills have kind of come down to earth here lately. And I'm kind of with Adam here. I think, Kenny Pickett they've made the transition. They said Kenny Pickett's the starter. He's getting the whole week here. 14 points is just too much. I'm going to take Pittsburgh to cover. It's not even that it's Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky. It's Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin is just a hell of a coach. And 14 points is a lot of points against the Pittsburgh Steelers, even right now in the shape that they're in and the shape that Buffalo's in. So
hold on.
I'm picking Buffalo to win this game for sure, but 14 is too much.
If the Jets went to Buffalo, would you pick them to cover -14 spread?
I would.
Okay, well, the Jets beat the Steelers last week, so the Steelers stink.
The Steelers do stink right now. I do think there was a little bit of life when they did bring in Kenny Pickett. I know he threw 3 interceptions, but one of them was like
Kenny picked it.
Not a single pass of his hit the ground. He threw 10 completions and 3 picks.
One of them was like a Hail Mary.
Who else drew 3 interceptions on their NFL debut?
I don't know. Brett
Probably
Favre?
100,000 quarterbacks.
Jameis Winston?
Peyton Manning.
Hey, there you go. Kenny Pickett's no Peyton Manning. Let's not pretend that he is. But
I'm just saying. I was just throwing stats out there. Along with the other stat, the Steelers are also 0-7 without TJ in the lineup.
Hey, good point. But here's the thing: I like the Bills money line for sure in this game, but -14 is just is a lot.
You guys know what happens when you leave me on an island, right?
Hey, sorry, Kenny. I'm leaving you on the Bills Island. I'm locking it in. I'm hammering home. Kenny Pickett. I just think Mike Tomlin and the boys, Craig's on to something. I think Mike Tomlin and the boys are going to be too proudful to get their ass whooped by the Bills by 14. So I'm hammering the Steelers here. Kenny's on Bills Island. Lock it in. Hammering the Steelers.
You also have to remember real quick, this is also a revenge game because the Steelers did beat them week 1 last year.
Hey, true that. In Buffalo, just like this week.
Yep.
True that. That was a close game. TJ Watt played that game, but he's not playing this game. Let's get into the 2 teams. I can't make either one of these teams. The Chargers, when I pick them to win, they lose. I pick them to lose, they win. Same with the Brownies. Kitty, help me understand here. This Browns-Chargers. And it looks like the Chargers are -3 here going into Cleveland.
The Chargers are going to charge or Browns are going to Brown. Which one's going to do it worse? Jesus, who knows? At the end of the day, either team can come out and be a 3-point favorite or a 10-point favorite and cover or not. That's just who knows who they are. I'm going to pick the Chargers to charger more than the Browns are going to Brown. And for some reason, some way, I'm going to pick the Browns to cover +3, and I have no idea why. That's the best analysis I can give you is who the hell knows. Let's just flip a coin and figure it out.
Craig, it's your boy Justin Herbert. He's going to cover this spread, right? They're going to be able to put it on the Chargers. They got their stink game out against Jacksonville a couple weeks ago.
I do think they got their stink game out of the way, but Cleveland's been in every game. So, this is kind of tough. The spread's close. The Chargers, they always charger. Even the games they win, they let them get back closer than they should. This one's really tough. I'm going to take Cleveland at home. I'm going to take the Chargers to win, but probably by a field goal. I'm going to take the Browns here at home to cover.
Adam, who you like here, the Browns or the Chargers?
Oh, I can't like the Browns, but I don't know. Are the Bolts going to get it together? After looking at the report, it looks like half the team's questionable, but it is Wednesday, and most teams are questionable on the fantasy reports. Like if you have Chargers on your team, most of them, because this is like a minor rest day to get over the week, So, like, I'm sure they're going to be healthy, but the question is, what's going to go on with Keenan Allen? Is he rolled out yet? Craig, did you hear anything?
I don't know. I have not heard.
Yeah, I haven't heard on Keenan Allen either. He was trying to go last week, got pulled about this time last week. I think on Thursday, re-aggravated his injury. So, they didn't need him last week, but he is a huge intricate part to their offense.
I mean, this Palmer kid's stepping up pretty big. So is Gerald Everett. He's kind of been a sleeper tight end in the beginning of the year. He's kind of waking up. People are starting to know his name. But then you got David Njoku and Brissett, which I have trouble picking the Browns, but I honestly think they're going to cover and win at home.
So the Brownies
still something real.
What'd you say, Craig?
That Cleveland running game is still something real, man. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, they keep games close. Jacoby Brissett has been good outside of the mistake he made late in the game against Atlanta. Jacoby Brissett's played pretty well.
Yeah, they're going to be playing pretty angry ball.
Here's my thing. I think Chargers finally figured it out what to do with Austin Eckler last week. He had his best game of the year. Count it in. You guys are all in on the Brownies. I'm on Charger Island, baby, at -3. I think they're going to get it done. Give me Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler having his best game last week, coming off his best game last week. I think they figured something out with the offense without Keenan Allen. The boys are going to go. They're going to be ready, and they'll probably Charger, and they'll probably lose, and I'll probably get a loss. But I'm going to pick the Chargers here at -3 to get her done.
So in the first 4 games, everybody's on an island in one, right?
Yeah.
So far, yes.
Craig, the only thing worse than our picks last week was your Bears offense. They're going to Minnesota, getting 7 points. Surprisingly, because Minnesota has an offense and the Bears don't. So I'm a little surprised that this spread's not higher. But go ahead and I'm sure you like your Bears at +7, though.
Yeah, speaking of islands, I'm not going to be surprised if I'm on an island in this one because the Bears' offense, has looked horrendous, and it's on pace to be like the worst passing offense of all time. I heard a bunch of crazy stats on the Bears' offense that just made absolutely no sense, and a lot of it just breaks down to Justin Fields is kind of holding on to the ball too long. And, he's a young quarterback. Hopefully he'll figure things out. Minnesota, though, they're another one of those teams that just lets games be close. Last week, they were playing the Andy Dalton Saints with no Michael Thomas and no Alvin Kamara, and somehow they barely won that one with a double doink. So here we are again. Speaking of double doink, you're going to give Chicago a touchdown. I'm going to take a division game. They always play Minnesota tough, so I'm going to take the Bears.
Kenny, who you like this one, Minnesota or Chicago here?
Man, I've been back and forth on this one too. Like Craig said, Minnesota is just a team that lets teams stay close. And it's hard to pick them to cover 7 against anybody. At home, away, it doesn't really seem to matter. We thought the Saints stunk. They let the Saints stick around. Who knows if the Lions maybe or maybe don't stink. They let the Lions hang around. Got whooped by the Eagles. Who knows who the Vikings are, but they are a team that lets everybody hang around. And so home, away, I think if you give me a touchdown in the Bears, I'm going to take it just to the sheer chance that the Vikings are who we thought they were, and they just let them hang around.
Adam, the Vikings are coming all the way back from London, and not having that bye week. Like it seems like it used to be a thing. You go to London, you get the bye week, but now teams aren't doing that. Adam, you think that's going to affect this this game here, the travel?
Well, I told NFL Updated I was coming on your show before this, and he said, "What's up?" By the way, we did the Cubs show. Remember?
Yeah. We go back and forth because he's a big Bears fan. So yeah.
Yeah. So I actually like I like the Bears with the points. I just, lag coming back from London. I don't know when they came back. I mean, you usually do. You're right. You usually do get that bye week. So I like the Bears to cover. Like Craig said, division game.
The fact that they're coming back from London is worrisome to me. I just think not having to all that travel and then getting back. It'll be interesting to see how they handle it. Here's the Kirk Cousins, first time Kirk Cousins has ever been 3-1 in his life. So there's that. Here's the thing. Let me ask you this. Is this the only time? Is this the game where Kirk Cousins is the only game on TV? Or is there going to be other games on?
It's noon game, so surely not. I mean, there's 100 games on it now.
Oh, so we're going to get prime time. This is the perfect noon game. Noon Kirk Cousins is the best Kirk Cousins, baby. Lock it in. Bodkins is in on Vikings Island. I'm riding with noon Kirk Cousins, baby. Lock it in.
So Craig was right about the island, but it was definitely not the way he thought it was going to go.
I thought it was going to be me.
I have Khalil Herbert, so I'm hoping he does something.
Hey,
Craig just traded Khalil Herbert for Keenan Allen.
Yeah, true that. He got to steal. Hey, we like to call him Jeffrey Dahmer where we're around here. Putting people's drinks and raping them.
His house is for sale. If anyone's
I'm good. Hey, let's get in here. I'm surprised the Patriots -3. It looks like Mac Jones is going to be a go. Practice today. I was hoping Zappy would get in there again. But, Craig, Patriots -3 here. The Lions, I mean, their offense looks really good, but their defense can't stop a freaking nosebleed.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100%. Their defense can't stop anything. Their offense is it's doing its job to win games. Their offense is good enough to keep up. Man, this is a tough one. I mean, New England, they surprised me last week against Green Bay. With Mac Jones being out, I mean, I don't remember exactly what that spread was. I know it was big, and I know I picked the Packers to cover it. It was like 9.5 or something.
It was 9.5, yeah.
But man, Detroit, they're always in it, and like I said, their offense can keep up. I know Bill Belichick defense is never a slouch, but Lions, the underdog. I'm getting a field goal. I'm going to take Detroit.
Adam, I mean, that New England defense, we know Bill's going to have those guys ready. Looks like Mac Jones, like I said, is going to play. No Swift still for the Lions. How you feel about this one here, Patriots and the Lions?
I like the Lions to cover.
Kitty,
they're in every game. It's just hard to, you just feel that they're going to be in that 3 points.
Kitty, they're right. They're kind of, everybody's saying they're on the kind of right on the money. The Lions in every game. They're going to be in this one and be able to cover here.
Man, I was really hoping that the spread would be a little bigger, so it'd be easier to pick them. But you guys know me. I'm pick the Lions to cover every week. Somehow they stay in it. The Lions, man, they're top 5 scoring team right now. I know everybody keeps the offense, but the defense lets everybody hang around. Can the Patriots score 30 points on anybody? I mean, if the Lions go out there and score 30 points, can the Patriots score 30 points? I mean, that's really going to be the thing. If the Lions offense is humming, I just don't know if the Patriots can keep up because is St. Brown playing? Is he out still?
He's questionable or probable, I believe.
If he plays, that changes a lot too. So I'm going to pick the Lions to cover and just kind of hope everything works out the way it's supposed to, and they do.
So you guys are all on the Lions. Well, guess what? I'm on Detroit too, baby. Hammer it home. Our first time we're all on the Lions here. Everybody's got the Lions. That's the first one. So we could all be wrong or we could all be right. But let's get into the next one here. It's Geno Smith. I mean, I said the stat the other day on Sunday that Geno is like balling out compared to like everybody else in the league. And they're getting 5.5 going into New Orleans. Don't know if Jameis is playing yet. I do think Mike Thomas is out as well. Kamara's still banged up. He's a game time decision. Kenny, are you buying the Geno hype here and taking 5.5, or you think the Saints will in the Superdome here?
Well, I've got a bad habit of being a week late on buying into hype. So I'm going to go ahead and buy into the Geno hype and take the Seahawks to cover 5.5, which means the Saints are probably going to win by 3 scores. But, I mean, it's almost the same question that I would ask before. If the Seahawks score 28 points, can the Saints right now? Because they haven't really shown that they can score. Now, they did score last week with the Vikings, but the Vikings let everybody hang around. We just said that for 3 or 4 picks. So you're going to be 5.5 the way Geno's playing, just kind of who the Seahawks are trying to be right now. I'll take that. Because they kind of got that MCDC type feel to them where it's like us against the world. We might as well go out and at least try to cover. And it seems like they're doing that. So I'm going to take them to cover 5.5.
Adam, I don't know if you wrote off Geno Smith and he didn't write you back, or did he write you back, or did you never write him off?
I wrote him off at West Virginia because I'm a Pitt.
You never got a letter back, according to Geno.
I saw that tweet. I started laughing. I like, just like we said about the Vikings coming back being jet lagged. I like the Seahawks, even though according to these numbers here on my original report, I had them winning 1 game, but after watching them, and maybe Russell, like I said earlier, Russell Wilson was the problem, because they seem to be doing a lot better now that it's not just one guy to focus on. Like, teams just don't know, like Will Disley, who the hell is this guy? And then all of a sudden Noah Fant gets wide open. Granted, we all could have scored that touchdown, but like maybe it takes 10 years to be in the league as a backup to figure it out as a starter.
Geno's a little slow. He's on that special. He's in that specials classes.
But whatever, you get to carry a clipboard and a clipbook for something. I mean, they see something in you to have you on the team. So maybe Pete Carroll finally said, "This is our guy, and let's just ride it out." So,
Craig,
I am definitely taking the Hawks in the cover.
Craig, Penny's come. Rashad Penny is, is having his best game coming off his best game of his career last week against the Lions. Ran all over him. And we know that that's what Pete Carroll said he wants to do. He's like, hey, we're going to run the ball. Hopefully Geno's not going to, throw some turnovers. And they got the, good wide receivers in DK and Lockett. Are you in on the Seahawks as well?
Yeah, man. I mean, with the 5.5 points, I feel like I got to pick Seattle in this one. Seattle's kind of the hot hand here. The Saints coming off a tough loss all the way over in London. So coming back from that, I mean, they are at home. But, kind of like Kenny said, the Saints, are they going to be able to keep up offensively? They're missing a bunch of points. Seattle, I don't think either one of these teams are really all that good. I don't consider either one of them a contender. So 5.5 points to me is just a lot. So I'm taking Seattle.
Yeah, we were talking on Buffoon and Bodkins how the Seahawks offense is, the Sean Payton offense, but it's Sean Payton's not calling the plays, and that offense looks real slow, and it's not explosive anymore, whether it's Andy Dalton back there, Jameis Winston back there. Who knows? I talked about somebody being on the milk carton earlier. The FBI is wondering where Alvin Kamara's been at, whether he's on the field or off the field. They can't find him. So I'm with you guys at 5.5. It's just too steep for me. I like the Seahawks, and I might pick the Seahawks money line here almost to eke one out in New Orleans. So hammer it home here. I'm locking it in. We're all in on Geno. Geno, write me back.
Unless Metcalf needs a cart ride to go take a poop.
Hey, we've all been there before. We've all had them moments where we can't hold the cheeks any longer.
I thought that was hilarious.
Let's get into the next game. Teddy Two Gloves is headed to taking the Dolphins, and they are -3 here. The Jets coming off of maybe Zach Wilson's best game and best win against the Steelers. Going to New York, the Dolphins favorites here. We'll go with you, Adam. How you feel about this one? Teddy Two Gloves for the Reigns here, the Dolphins at -3 going into New York.
Which Bridgewater are we going to get?
Good question. Teams have been wondering that for a long time.
I hate to say it, but it looks like he has a better arm than Tua whenever it comes to throwing deep. So maybe this is. I'm taking the Dolphins. I think they're gonna blow these Jets out of the water. Sorry.
I don't apologize, Craig. I mean,
I know, but we're trying to keep it.
Hey, the MILF hunter's on the prowl. Hey, watch out, Giselle. I mean, are you taking the MILF hunter and the Jets here over the Dolphins?
Man, Teddy just did not look very good whenever he came in for Tua. He did throw some deep balls, and his deep ball did look a whole lot better than Tua's, but the Jets got a little bit of swagger, man. They're taking receipts, and Zach Wilson's back now. They didn't look great against Pittsburgh, but they got a win, and they seemed like they were kind of out there having a little fun. So, Zach Wilson's first home game, I'm going to take the Jets here.
Kenny, Craig said it. The Zach Wilson, the Jets got a little swag to him. He's out there doing the gritty on ladies and on the field. Who you like in this one, or is Teddy Two Gloves show you why the Dolphins paid him decent money to come be their backup?
Well, Teddy is who we thought he was, and that's all he's ever going to be. And I don't mean any disrespect to Teddy. I mean, he's exactly who he needs to be. He's a very good backup, but he was given the reins to not near as good of an offense in Carolina and could do absolutely nothing with it. He struggled to manage it at times. I just don't think – when you're throwing the deep ball when you're down, I think it's a little easier. You're throwing a lot of them. You're going to get a few through, and you got Tyreek Hill down there to throw to. So I think that you are going to see him kind of unleash a little bit, but the Jets got enough swag for me that I'm not ever going to pick Teddy to cover. That's just kind of what I've learned. The Dolphins will probably win by 100, but I'm going to take the Jets to cover.
It was one game, y'all, and everybody's hyping up Zach Wilson and the Jets. It was one game against a half a game against Mitch Trubisky and a half a game against Kenny Pickett, and everybody's on the Jets bandwagon. You three and the media, get out of town. I'm taking – oh, you're taking – you took Teddy Two Gloves too?
I picked Miami, yeah.
Ah, shoot. You're ruining my rant, Adam. Every freaking time I forget who you pick. Jesus.
Well, write it down, damn it.
Hey, that's Kenny's job. He's the guy.
He's like, we need to figure out how to get the little writing what the record is in their picture.
Anyway,
we need to write the StreamYard about that.
I'm locking it in. Me and Adam are both in on the Dolphins. Hey, nice little rhyme there. Speaking of Giselle, we're going to her ex-husband, Tom Brady, the GOAT, who's now going to be one less ring, getting -8.5 against the only team undefeated against the spread, the Falcons. Kenny, Tom Brady revenge game, or he's got too much on his mind here with the divorce and everything else that's going on at home to handle the Falcons?
I don't know if any of that has anything to do with any of the spread, the game, Sunday, nothing. But Falcons are one of them teams, just like the Lions. I'm going to pick them every single week to cover, and you're going to give me 8.5. I'm damn sure going to do it now. I do think the Bucs will win this game. I think the Bucs should win this game. I don't think the Bucs should have a problem winning, but I think that winning is like a 4 or 5. I don't think it's an 8.5. I'm not 100% sure. I hate to ask a question like this because it is Tom Brady, but lots of people. It seems like everybody can score against the Chiefs right now. Now the Chiefs are winning, but it seems like everybody can score. So can the Bucs score 30? Because the Falcons seem like they're going to put up 20 to 28 points every game. So yeah, but Algier looked good. They got Huntley. Huntley looked good. I think they're going to be all right. Drake London's looked great. Need Kyle Pitts to do a little more, but I'm going to take Falcons to cover 8.5. I do think Bucs win. I'm going to take Falcons to cover 8.5 for sure.
Craig, we know that Atlanta wants to run the football. Their coach Arthur Smith even said, "Hey, we want to run the damn ball down your throat." but the Bucs, I mean, their defense is known to stop the run here. I'm a little nervous for the Falcons offense in that run game. But I mean, Kenny alluded to it. The Bucs offense has not looked good at all outside of last week. Was that the anomaly, or is that the start of something here as they are the heavy favorite here against Atlanta?
Yeah, man, you kind of took the words right out of my mouth. Atlanta wants to run the ball, and Tampa's a really tough team to run the ball against, and they're without Cordero Patterson. So if they can make this another one of those games, like I said about the Colts game, if they can make this game one-dimensional, Marcus Mariota has to beat them. I mean, Tampa could win by 20. But Tampa's offense has not looked good. How much of that is just because everybody's hurt and Brady's out there playing with guys that he's not normally playing with? But, I mean, Atlanta undefeated against the spread, 8.5 is a lot. I think Tampa probably wins this game by a touchdown. But, I mean, that's still – Atlanta still covers there. So I'm going to take the Falcons.
Adam, who you like in this one here?
I like the Julio Jones and Russell Gage show. I'm taking Tampa to cover.
Yeah, I got you. Man, I can't – I've gone back and forth on this one. I don't know. I mean, I just think something about Tampa just doesn't look right to me. Whether it's Brady, I do think there is something to read into some of that home life situation. We all know if home life's chaotic, you sure as heck don't want to go to work, and it can get bad at work when you've got other things on your mind.
Brady's been through a divorce before, though, during season. I mean, this isn't his first one.
I know. I know that. Yeah, it's not. But it's his first one to Giselle, who was the bread maker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Brady's broke.
He about to be broke. About to play till 50. Hope
She's
we
gonna
got
owe him out money. What are you talking
really
about?
retires and gets $375 million.
Hey, right.
It's better.
I don't think there is something to it, though. I just think he looks – I do think he doesn't look like great, whether it's Brady. I think Father Time has slowly caught up to him. I thought that 3 years ago when they were down 28-3 in the Super Bowl, though, or how many years ago, I thought, this is the end of Brady. Well, I was dead wrong. And I could be dead wrong again, but I'm kind of with I'm going to take the Falcons here to stay undefeated against the spread. I like the Bucs money line, but give me plus 8.5 with Atlanta here. I'm not hammering home the Falcons, baby. Two teams. Here come the Titans. They looked awful the first 2 weeks. I mean, looked like one of the worst teams in the league, especially on that Monday night game against the Bills. Have bounced back. I mean, Derrick Henry got going here last 2 games. It's they're heavy favorites at minus 7.5, taking on the Commanders. Craig, who you like in this one? The Carson Wentz show or Ryan Tannehill? Titans are minus 7.5.
2.5. That spread's 2.5. I know you can't read quite Bodkin,
Okay.
so that spread's 2.
Oh, it looked like a 7. My bad. 2.5. Oh, it's a pick'em game. Even
I
better.
had it written down as 2.5, and I'm taking the Titans in this game. And then you said 7.5, and I had to almost think about it.
It's small. It's small. Hey, I got an eye appointment on Monday, so hopefully they'll be able to fix it.
Yeah, the Titans. I mean, the Commanders here. This is the type of game that the Titans can put right in their wheelhouse and do everything that they want to do and run Derrick Henry from the first to the fourth quarter. So I like the Titans to win this game. 2.5 is a pick 'em. So I'm going to take Tennessee.
Adam, who you like in this one? Like they said, it's a pick.
I don't care where this game's played. Tennessee's going to destroy this team.
Kenny, are you on the same line here?
Yeah, Commanders stink, man. I mean, Tennessee seems like they might be finally starting. Now they got some injuries in the receiving core and stuff, but it seems like Tennessee's kindly starting to kind of figure it out. And if you're starting to figure it out, then you're damn sure going to figure it out against the Commanders. So I'm a 2.5, like Craig said. This is a pick. I'm going to take Tennessee to cover that for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was 7.5 because I thought the line probably should have been 7.5. So
I had to go look and see if it moved that much because I used the Tuesday morning spreads. I had to go look. I was like, geez, did it move 5 points?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that it is. The Commanders stink. I'm in on Derrick Henry just running roughshod on the Commanders. Lock it in. We're all in on the Titans. We get into another 2 teams. The surprising 3-2, or what is it, 2-2 Jacksonville Jaguars as the Texans coming to town. Jacksonville is -7. Adam, who you like in this one here?
I think Trevor Lawrence finally figured out the NFL, and that's kind of scary if he can continue the trend that he had. I mean, the kid didn't lose any games all the way until he reached the NFL, right? And then
they lost the national championship game his senior year, I think, right? Against Alabama.
I don't think he lost any games, right? Regular season games.
No.
And that goes all the way back to high school.
Yeah.
So that's a long time of going without losing. And it just seems like he's finally figuring it out with Kristen Kirk, Darnold. Ingram's bound to wake up at some point. James Robinson's found his gear again. These Jaguars, they see that they can definitely put a run for the South. So I am taking the Jaguars. They were talking about replacing Mills this week, and I don't know. This Texan team's a mess, but I do like Dameon Pierce for sure. But I just think they're going to be too far behind to really enjoy a decent running back that they have.
Craig, the Texans are the only team that doesn't have a win here. They get their win are at +7 here.
I'm a big Lovie Smith fan. 7 points is somewhat of a big spread. Division game here, but I think Adam's onto something. Trevor Lawrence, he's definitely trending in the right direction. That game last week against Philly is just, somewhat alludes to how good Philly might be, I think, because Jacksonville, they were kind of rolling there for a minute. And, we've said it before on this show, Doug Peterson kind of has something going there. So I think this is a good bounce back game for them, a good bounce back game for Trevor Lawrence. I think the Jags win and cover.
Lawrence did have I think he had 4 fumbles last week. And
close.
Yeah, the game was still close. 4 fumbles, but I equivalent a lot to that to the rain. Kenny, are you on Jacksonville as well here?
You guys finally learned to quit leaving me on Jags Island, huh? It was feeling real good out there getting a win against you guys every week picking the Jags. So I just want to bring something up. We put in group 2 weeks ago when the Jags won. I said, are the Jags for real? And Craig said, oh, you can't say that. You can't say that. And he just said, we know Philly is for real because they beat the Jags. I don't want to hear nothing else out of old Craig with the K over there.
Hey, amen to that. Amen to that.
I'm all in on the Jags.
Not that they beat the Jags, but, the Jags were both scoring points. And then the Jags end up 14-0 in that game. And Philly looked like the superior team the rest of the way.
Yeah, but for that whole week leading up to that, everybody's saying Philly was maybe the best team in football. A lot of people were saying so. And
the win before that, they beat the Chargers, and it was before that win that I said we can't.
They didn't beat the Chargers.
Win was a big difference maker there.
They beat them boys down.
Right.
So the problem I got here, I am going to take the Jags to cover just because I got to pick somebody. But these are 2 teams that I always pick to cover. There's 2 teams that Lovie Smith gets them to hang around. The Jags always hang around. Jags are 7-point favorite. I need somebody to go back and tell me the last time the Jacksonville Jaguars were a 7-point favorite in any game. It's got to be the Mark Brunell Jags, right, or something since then. So I'm going to take the Jags to cover in this one.
Jesus, come on. Okay, wow, we're going back.
And Byron Leftwich and them boys, David Gerard and them boys, back when they had Fred Taylor.
Right, but I'm going to take the Jags to cover against the Texans. I just don't think the Texans finally didn't cover last week. If you can't cover against the Chargers, you can't cover against nobody. So I'm going to take the Jags.
Yeah, I think I'm right with you guys. We're all in on Jacksonville. I think it's a nice bounce back game here for Trevor Lawrence and the crew. I credit to a lot of those turnovers due to the rain. They've been in some close games. If they're not playing the NFC East, they're undefeated. Well, guess what? They're not playing the NFC East, baby. So lock it in. We're going in Jacksonville at -7. We get into it here. There might be one offense that's looked just as bad as the Bears and is playing worse than Justin Fields, and that's Craig's comeback player of the year, MVP caliber Baker Mayfield that he was, rooting for. They are dogs at home to the 49ers at -6.5. Craig, this is the game where your boy Baker turns it around, right?
Nobody ever said Baker was going to come close to an MVP. And Baker's not my boy.
He was your boy at the beginning of the year. He was your boy at the beginning of the year.
On this show, I officially, after they lost to Cleveland, cut myself all ties with Baker because
you can't crawfish after that. You picked Baker Mayfield. That's the hill you chose to die on.
Hey.
I never chose to die on that hill. No, I mean Carolina stinks, man. Carolina is just not very good. Their defense was kind of keeping them around. They're missing Jeremy Chin now. San Francisco, big win over the Rams. So I mean, I think San Francisco. I've said, ever since Jimmy G came back, I feel like this 49ers team is different, and I feel like they're just kind of getting their groove back. And this is one of those games that I just think San Francisco wins by a lot. And so I'm going to take the Niners to win and cover.
So, hey, Craig decided he was going to die on the molehill of Baker Mayfield. Are you just going to stomp on that molehill here with the 49ers at -6.5?
Yeah. Man, every time I look up, I want to say, man, the Niners are going to figure it out with Jimmy G. They're getting it together. The Niners always beat the Rams. That is what it is. Does that mean the Niners
NFC Championship?
Right. Does that mean the Niners aren't good? Obviously not. But they stunk before that. Remember the snooze fest they had with the Broncos? I mean, that was just a few days before that. So we're not that far removed. I do think they're starting to figure it out. And kind of like with the Titans and the Commanders, if you're ever going to figure it out, you're damn sure going to do it against the Panthers. So I'm going to give me the Niners to cover 6.5.
Yeah, Adam, I felt like the Niners was getting it going. Got back to the Debo ground game pretty heavily on Monday against the 49 Rams. Are you suspecting the same thing here? Because this Carolina offense outside of CMC has looked pretty bad.
I am definitely taking the Niners. I'm sure me and Gina will break it down tomorrow on her show. But the defense is just coming around. Hufanga and Bosa. It reminds me of the 94 days when that defense was just stacked. And I think they're really coming around. The quarterback situation, that's always the fun debate every day because, it's kind of like what Pittsburgh was doing. They wanted Trubisky out so we could get Pickett, and they wanted Garoppolo out so they could get Lance. And then came the whole top of the line. It seems like they were leaning more towards we want Jimmy. But the fans really wanted Trey Lance. And you can hear that in their voice almost every show we do. They're not behind Jimmy. But, whenever you win, you get behind your whole team. There's no cussing out. There's no, you know what I mean? There's more like we won. All right, let's keep it going. But then they always have that fear of, are we only going to be let down in the end again with Jimmy? That is their whole fear. So, but I am definitely taking the Niners.
Yeah, here's the thing is Shanahan is a professional coach and knows what the heck he's doing for the most part. Matt Rule doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So I probably won't pick the Panthers the rest of the year. I think they're awful. I'm gonna lock it in. Give me the 49ers at -6.5. All right, let's get into Cooper Rush time here, Kenny. I'm pretty sure I don't think Dak's playing. They said he can't quite grip the football. Rams surprisingly only -4. I know the Rams haven't looked. I mean, they're either look really good, and then there's games that they look really bad. Surprisingly, I guess. I mean, they're 2-2 here, but Cooper Rush has got the Cowboys cooking. Are you taking the Cowboys at +4 going to LA?
Sorry, my dog gets in the way sometimes.
All right. +4 is such a trap, I feel like, man. It's hard. I went back and forth because as soon as Dak went down, I said I'm never going to pick him to cover again. And then Cooper Rush listen, there's a lot of people on TV that are saying that he's trying to take Dak's job, and that's just preposterous. But damn it, he's playing good. I'm going to take him to cover +4. I do think that the Rams are going to win. I think they're going to have a bounce back game. They just lost to the Niners. They're going to be mad. I get it. But I think that Cooper Rush is going to find a way to keep us around and at least lose by a field goal. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to cover +4, which means this is when the wheels fall off and it all goes to shit, and the Rams win by 100.
Greg, I'll say this. The 49ers got after Stafford, and I'm looking at Micah Parsons to kind of get after Stafford here in this game as well. Are you thinking the same thing here, or you think it's a big bounce-back game of the Rams?
No, I'm thinking the same thing that you're thinking. I've been the Matt Stafford owner in our fantasy league for the first couple of weeks, so I've kind of paid attention to this Rams offense, and it stinks. If it's not something to Cooper Kupp, they just don't really have anything else going on, and they can't protect Matt Stafford. And this Dallas defense, we said it last week, this Dallas defense looks for real, and I think that's going to be a big issue here. I think Dallas's defense, I've said it before, is good enough to keep them around in just about any game. And I think they're just going to be all over Stafford. It's going to be another tough day for the Rams offense. So, yeah, I mean, as the underdogs, I'm going to take the Cowboys here. They're the hot hand. The Rams are really struggling. So I'm taking the Cowboys.
Adam, I mean, the Rams offensive line has just looked real questionable. I don't know what's going on there. What's your take there on the Rams offensive line? And Craig alluded to it. It's like Cooper Kupp or nothing for the Rams.
If Cooper Rush watches this game on Monday against the Niners, either he's going to learn how to beat Jalen Ramsey and tell his receivers what to do. Jalen Ramsey got burnt so many times, but Garoppolo didn't see it. So if Cooper Rush watches the tape from Monday night, these Rams could be in real trouble because Gallup's back. CeeDee Lamb, he's CeeDee Lamb. He's going to get 70 and a touch, hopefully, for my fantasy sake, anyway. But yeah, I mean, if Cooper Rush goes back and watches this tape, he's going to learn how to beat this Rams defense. And why wouldn't you watch the Niners offense against this Rams team? They own them, except for the playoff game.
So you guys are all on the Cowboys.
Yeah. And SoFi too. And there's gonna be a lot of Cowboy fans.
I think it's a bounce back game here for the Rams. I think they gotta get it together. They got to. This is it. Allen Robinson, where the hell are you? Get it together. I mean, you're the only black guy on the team. I saw it lining up on the offense like it's a bunch of white dudes, and then find Allen Robinson. Where's Allen Robinson been at? Please. I'm going with the Rams. Somehow the Rams pull this out. Cooper Rush can't go undefeated this whole time. There's no way. Lock it in. I'm on Ram Island.
I think you're going to stay sunken.
Let's get into the only undefeated team here. I'm surprised this spread's not higher again because I think Arizona absolutely stinks. And they're 5.5. The Eagles headed to at -5.5 here. Craig, who you like this one? The undefeated Eagles to stay undefeated at -5.5? Or, I mean, speaking of teams that got to get it together, Arizona's got to get it together somehow.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it in last week's wrap-up. Arizona has looked, really bad except for 2 fourth quarters this year. Outside of that, they just haven't looked very good. They are at home and 5.5-point underdogs, which is hard to go against, especially Kyler Murray and them boys can mount a comeback or make a game close. I do like Philly to win this game. But, yeah, I've been back and forth on this one. I mean, Philly could go on the road and win this game by 14, but I'm going to just go with my gut here, and I'm going to take the Cardinals to cover the points.
Kitty, you alluded to it earlier. A lot of people saying the Eagles are the best team in the league right now. Do you think that, and do you think they're covering here at 5.5?
If I did think that, I would never say it with a camera in my face. So good luck getting that one out of me. I do think, like you said, the Cardinals have stunk. Granted, last week they played Carolina and they did exactly what you're supposed to. They beat Carolina. I don't think that they're going to beat the Eagles. I think that if the Jags can score 21 on the Eagles, I think the Cardinals can score 21, 24 on the Eagles, and I think they can cover 5.5. So I'm going to take them to cover 5.5, but I would pick the Eagles money line 100 times out of 100.
Adam, what's your thoughts here on Eagles Cardinals here? Eagles the favorite at 5.5.
I think Eagle fans are finally loving Miles Sanders and making the end zone instead of just running for 100 yards and not seeing the end zone. I really think the Eagles are going to cover this. I don't know. I see Zach Ertz scoring a touchdown against his former team, but outside of that, I don't see much from this Arizona team.
I just think Arizona, whatever it is, that offense, something has happened to them. It looks broken to me. I mean, they're missing D-Hop in a bad way. He's not coming back for at least another 2 games, this game and the next game.
Then this whole J.J. Watt stuff with the defib and him dying and then coming back to life. What's that all about?
So he didn't ever die. His heart was just like offbeat, and then like
that's what everyone said. So I just I didn't really read into it, but I was like, what?
So his heart was like offbeat. It was like off rhythm, and the defib like helped it get back into rhythm. And they said they said he was fine. He's ready to play. Like there wasn't nothing. Like the only thing you do is nothing about it. Really, they kind of said. So he was out there. I'm with you, Adam. I can't pick this Arizona team. I just think they're not against the Eagles. The Eagles have looked really good. That three-headed running back monster of Jalen Hurts, Kenneth Gainwell, and Miles Sanders is just each week it seems like they go for over 200 yards rushing combined. Are close to it. I'm locking it in. Give me the Eagles at -5.5. We get into maybe the most interesting game, I think, of the week here. The Bengals headed to the Ravens. The Ravens coming off a bad loss, Kenny. Second blown, lead that they've had in their 2 losses. And here come the Bengals getting it together after the last 2 weeks, after starting 0-2. This Bengals offense finally over the Super Bowl hangover, or, you taking the Ravens here at -3?
This one's a tough one, man. I've kind of went back and forth on this one too. It's hard to – I'm not going to watch what the Bengals did last week and say that beating old Teddy Bridgewater means that they got everything back together because they could beat the Dolphins by 2 scores. But the Ravens let everybody hang around, and I wish you could get a hook. If it's 3.5, I'd take the Bengals for sure. If the Ravens are going to be who the Ravens were trying to be the first 3 weeks, then they've got to beat the Bengals. And give me the Bengals +3. I just changed my mind. Give me the Bengals +3.
Adam, who you like in this one? I mean, Joey Burrow is an absolutely dog of all dogs, but Lamar is on a scorched earth here to break the bank.
Well, the Bengals spent a lot of free agency money on that offensive line. Are they finally getting it together to block for Burrow? That's the question. I saw the Ravens just signed Isabella, who the Cardinals dropped as one of their wide receivers. He was Isabella. Am I saying his last name right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
They dropped him but I remember he filled in very nicely last year. So he's used to a running quarterback. So he might be able to step right in and be another threat, because he did have some good games down the end of the stretch last year. I hate both of these teams, but anyway, if I had to pick one, I would go Cincinnati. I can't see the Ravens blowing another lead if they get it. I can't. I got to go Ravens.
Craig, go ahead and break this tie for us. Ravens or Bengals here?
So I've been torn on this game too. I mean, I think the Bengals are slowly kind of getting their groove back. But last week they didn't look good in the first half against Miami. And then even when Geno came in, I mean, they didn't look good for the majority of that second half. That score looked a lot. It made the game look worse than it was. I mean, Miami was in it for a lot of it. The Ravens have let everybody back in it. I heard a stat on the radio the other day that the Ravens have trailed a total of 17 seconds this season. But they've lost 2 games in those 17 seconds. So I think, man, like we've said before, Lamar is on path to a big money ticket, and this is his first primetime game. So coming off of the loss to the Bills last week, I look for Lamar to have a huge game, and I look for the Ravens to win, and I'll take them to cover.
So we saw what we saw what Tua did to that Ravens secondary in that huge comeback. You know what it is. It's the Bodkins Bengals, baby. Burrow, Bodkins, Bengals, all together. I'm taking the Bengals at +3. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and them boys. Hey, they're going to put it to the Ravens secondary just much like the Dolphins did a couple weeks ago. Even if they get down, they'll bounce back. I like the Bengals, the grit, the toughness. Hey, Joey Burrow is an absolutely dog of all dogs. Speaking of dogs, Patty Mahomes was doing Patty Mahomes things on Sunday night, just doing jump passes and twirls and throws. The Raiders coming off their first win. Adam, we'll start with you here on the Monday night game. You like the Chiefs here at -3, or are you taking the Raiders here at going to Arrowhead?
Oh, man. I like the Chiefs. I think has a lot of points, though. I like the Chiefs. Hilaire's going to be close to comeback player of the year, even though he played last year. Because he was pretty much dead last year to all fantasy owners that picked him. And he's already got, 4 touchdowns, I think? Maybe more. I don't know. But I like the Chiefs.
Kitty, who do you like here, the Chiefs or the Raiders?
You know my rules, boys. Never pick against the Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs -7. The Raiders absolutely stink. I mean, that's just – the Raiders are bad, and I can't pick them to cover. I know 7's a lot, and in Oakland maybe, but I'm not picking the Raiders right now. People are talking about Josh McDaniels maybe getting fired after 1 year. I mean, who knows what's going on with the Raiders right now. So give me the Chiefs -7 for sure.
And Craig, we alluded to a lot of teams have been scoring on the Chiefs. The Raiders do have that offensive weapons that can score here. But, I mean, the Raiders, a lot of teams are scoring on the Raiders here. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. That 51 sounds about right for the over-under. Who you like in this one here?
Money line, I like Kansas City. But the Raiders, man, they seem to always play well in Kansas City. And they seem to always give Kansas City, a tough battle. And last week, I think the Raiders might have figured something out, and that is use Josh Jacobs and try to develop a running game. Having Derek Carr throwing the ball 80% of your plays got you 0-3. So use Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs has had some big games against Kansas City before. So I don't feel great about it, but with the touchdown, I'm gonna take the Raiders to keep it close enough to cover.
I'm hoping you're right. I'm hoping Josh Jacobs keeps it up, Craig.
Craig, you hit it right on your head that Raiders always go into Arrowhead. Give them a tough game. Seems like when the spread is bigger, like it is this week, that the Chiefs can't cover. So I'm going with the Raiders +7, baby. Lock it in. Adam, before we let you get out of here, man, go ahead and get those plugs in.
I think I'm going to stick around. The other show's over.
Okay, you're going to stick around? All right, that's perfect,
that's cool
man.
with you guys.
Hey, no, we don't. No, I'm just kidding with you. Yeah. No, that's perfect. Hey, so you folks know what time it is. Kenny, go ahead and hit that nice little logo. It's time for K&K Fantasy Corner. That's right. It's time for K&K Fantasy Corner. Kitty has been missing. Hopefully he's been still paying attention while he's been changing diapers and feeding babies. Kenny, go ahead and give me your first must start of the week.
My first must start this week, running back Kareem Hunt. They got him RB28 this week. What Eckler did in the passing game last week, I think that he's going to be able to basically replicate that. So I think that he's going to finish above that. I think if you got him as a chance to start him in the flex, then you definitely have to do it this week.
Gray, what about you, man? Who's your must start of the week here?
My must-start running back this week, I'm going with Devin Singletary of the Bills going against Pittsburgh. Surprisingly enough, Pittsburgh has been pretty generous to running backs thus far in fantasy. They're averaging, giving up 25.5 a game. And, I think Pittsburgh's going to cover the points, but it's a big spread. A lot of people have got Buffalo running away with this, which, should allude to more touches for the running backs. Devin Singletary was a hot hand late last season and looked like he's getting back involved in the offense. So if I got Devin Singletary, I'm playing him this week.
Yeah, that's been 2 years in a row. Pittsburgh's been giving up a lot of points in the running game. Like 2 years in a row here, they can't stop the run. Adam, you got somebody you must start, or are you just hanging out to chill out?
Hold on, let me get in my team.
All right, we'll go back to you, Kenny. Kenny, go ahead. Give us your next must start.
Sorry, I just was not in my
no, you're good, brother.
Right there. Sorry, guys.
Very good. My next must start wide receiver, I'm going to go Devontae Smith this week. The Cardinals give up a lot of points, they give up a lot of yards, and I think that the way the Philly offense is humming, that I think that Devontae Smith's going to get a touchdown this week. He's probably going to get 80 yards, probably 5 catches, and I think that's a week that you definitely want to start him in the flex.
Greg, what about who's your next must start here?
I'm going this week to all the people, including myself, partially, that are panicking on Deontay Johnson. Play him this week. Pittsburgh could be forced to throw the ball a lot. And George Pickens looks like he might become Kenny Pickett's favorite target, but I think Deontay Johnson is still the most well-rounded wide receiver there. I think he's still going to get his share, and this week against Buffalo, he might. Like I said, they might have to sling it. Could be a lot of targets. Don't panic on Deontay yet. Keep him in your lineup.
Go ahead.
You got somebody, Adam?
I was gonna go with. I think Aaron Jones is gonna eat this weekend in the London game.
I hope so. Aaron Jones.
Well, that would be my running back start for sure. That would be my running back start for sure. That's funny because I was gonna say you should start Pickens instead of Deontay. Deontay seems to be the double guy, and Pickens is kind of left alone. And if not, he's been looking at Freiermuth on the other side. So I don't know. I just feel Deontay is the guy to watch on defense. Maybe now that Pickens is going to be up on the number 1 on the depth chart, that might lead to more Deontay, but Pickens is just Pickett's favorite target. I don't know.
Kenny, who you got here is your last must start of the week?
My last must start of the week at tight end. If you can get him to stream, I recommend streaming Tyler Conklin this week against the Dolphins. The Dolphins been giving it up to tight end, so I think that this is definitely a week. If you got Conklin, if you can pick him up. I tried a couple weeks ago for this matchup, and Mendez got him in our league, so he kind of screwed me on that. So if you got Conklin this week, this is definitely the week to start him.
Craig, who's your must start of the week here?
I put him on my must-sit list, 2 weeks ago, and he made me pay for it, and now I got him on the start list, man. I'm going David Njoku.
Baby.
This week. The Browns against the Chargers, that's another game that there might have to be some points scored. And Njoku, it looks like Amari Cooper and then David Njoku. Those are Brissett's top 2 targets. And, he's just about got himself in the territory to where you can start him every week. So I like this matchup against the Chargers. So Njoku's my start of the week.
Adam, you got somebody else here?
That I would have a start of the week. Man, I am going with Garrett Wilson, but I think Corey Davis is going to be the sneaky play out of New York just because of
He seems to be Zach Wilson's favorite target.
I was just ready to say that. So, but that's
Craig, go ahead and give us your must sit of the week here.
So starting out my must sit of the week, running back, I'm going with James Conner. Got a tough matchup against Philly this week, and James Conner is only averaging 10.5 points right now in the running back spot. He's been dealing with a little bit of, injuries here early, which is, to me, that's the James Conner way, I guess. You just can't trust him to be healthy all year. And like I said, this Philly matchup is tough. So Arizona could find themselves in a hole early, and James Conner could just be touchdown or bust this week. So if you got a better option, I'd sit him.
Who's your must sit of the sit here?
My must sit this week at running back is ETN. I think that the Jags, they're projected to be heavy favorites. You got to think that's a big James Robinson game. ETN hasn't been doing much with the carries he's been getting, so I don't really see him to get very many in this game. He's going to get some passing down work, but he's not really been getting kind of what everybody thought he was going to get. They still got him ranked every week, it seems like, as an RB3. I just don't know if I would do that. And so if I got another option this week, I'm sitting ETN and trying to get somebody else in the flex.
I would
you got a must sit.
Breece Hall is my sit of the week.
All right.
I got to start him at RB2 this week. Don't say that.
Miami's giving up the lowest points to running backs.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's out. David Montgomery's out. I have no choice. That's who started.
Who else is on your free agent list?
Nobody.
Are you guys all in the same league then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you guys are all talking advice to each other in the same league.
We're giving advice to everybody.
The only people that watch our show are also in the league, so everybody.
We're giving advice to whoever's listening. Hey, Craig, go ahead. Who's your must sit of the week here?
My must sit of the week, and he's dang near made himself droppable. I was a believer early, but I'm losing faith in my boy Allen Robinson. I said it earlier, man. If it's not Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee is proved startable as a pass catcher there in LA, but the passing game hasn't looked good. Stafford hasn't looked good. I don't know how much of that could be alluded to that injury that has been lingering around, and the offensive line doesn't look good. Stafford's not getting good protection. If it's not Cooper Kupp at receiver in LA, I don't want it. So Allen Robinson, definitely sit of the week.
Kitty, who's your sit of the week?
Don't be mad. All right. Don't be mad. I love you, Botkins. My sit of the week is Terry, man. I don't have no idea how they still got him wide receiver 25. He's on your fantasy team, Bodkins. Do you feel like he's a wide receiver 2?
He's my wide receiver 3.
No, not because he has to be. But do you feel like he is a wide receiver 2?
No, again, he's my wide receiver 3.
Exactly, absolutely not. So for them to still have him ranked wide receiver 25, I just do not have any idea how you do that week in, week out. The way things have been going. The Commanders can't move the ball, and when they do, it seems like if they get in the red zone, they go to Jahan Dotson every single time. Thank goodness, but yeah, so Terry ends up being my must sit of the week, and I hate to do that to you right here, face to face. But they got wide receiver 25 just way too high, man.
I'm hoping they bench Carson Wentz. I need my boy Taylor Heineke back out there because the only person he throws it to is Terry McLaurin.
That worked, man. When Heineke took over last year, it seems like every time Heineke takes over, I've had Terry McLaurin, and it's always worked out great.
Adam, you got another must sit here?
I was just looking over my team, see who's sitting on the bench. Sorry, I was very unprepared for this. I wasn't.
Hey, you're all right.
I wasn't aware we were doing a start 'em sit 'em.
Hey, you said you was getting out of here, so I thought. I was just trying to be a good host.
We go through on my show when we do have a fantasy breakdown. We go through every team.
Oh, I got you.
So it's not just like a random pick. It's like we go through every team and have a chance to break them down real quick.
Yeah.
But, shit. I don't have one right now.
You're good, brother. We'll get back to you.
Give me a minute. I'm looking over my teams right now. So,
Craig, go ahead and give me your last sit 'em of the week here.
Tight end sit 'em. you had to sit him last week, and don't play him this week. Dalton Schultz, if he's coming back healthy, I don't like the matchup, and I don't like playing guys. Whenever all week long you don't know if he's playing. He missed last week. It's the tight end spot. Tight ends you can stream. I feel like if Dalton Schultz is on your team, I'm not saying drop him, but stream a different option this week.
Can you give me your last sit 'em of the week here?
Well, I'm not going to go as low as tight end 19 to give you my sit-em of the week, like Sandbag and Craig over there. Jeez, cupcakes. My sit-em of the week this week, they got Tyler Higbee at tight end 7 this week. And I just kind of look at what the Cowboys and what tight ends have done to him, and I just don't understand how you can say that Tyler Higbee's going to go out and have a week where you absolutely have to start him. And so for that, I say that Tyler Higbee's going to have a week where you absolutely have to sit him. I'm just going to trust the Cowboys defense to kind of – they've given up some catches to tight ends, but they have not given up any yards up the middle. It's just kind of the way they play. If you get them, you got to burn them on the outside, which has been done a few times, obviously. But I'm going to take him to shut down Higbee, and I don't understand how he's ranked tight end 7 this week.
All right. Hey, Adam, we're going to go ahead and we'll get out of here. Go ahead and get those last little bit of plugs in where everybody can find you.
My main Twitter is at Sports Talking It. Unfortunately, they wouldn't let me put it any other way because we kind of have the same show kind of thing. But at Talk Sportsing It, leave me a message. I'll get back to you ASAP. Also, you can get me on the other shows, Driving to the Top Productions on Twitter. You can get me there. So, yeah, just and you can find me other places, but we'll stick with those two for now.
All right. Hey, appreciate it. Hey, Adam, appreciate you joining us tonight. Hey, folks, we'll be back again Sunday night with our Week 5 reaction show. We'll be talking about all the games that'll be happening at 8:30 Central Time Zone on Sunday night. And then also Sunday morning, we'll be doing our Head Kicks and Haymakers show at 7 a.m. Central Time Zone. So be a friend, tell a friend, share with a friend. Hit that nice little subscribe button, folks. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You know the business. Go ahead, Kenny. Hit that outro, baby. It's another great episode of the Bodkin Show. See y'all.